Hi everyone. Today I'd like to talk about the 5 questions that I recommend anybody should ask if they're involved in business on a regular basis or if they aspire to start a business. And these 5 questions are critical to the success of any business in its early stages or as you go along as a kind of a review mechanism to ensure you stay on track. The first question that I would recommend that anybody would ask is, why are you involved in business? And I have over 20 years experience in business, and I've had my ups and downs. It's been a trial and error, and I have learned as I've gone along. I've learned from the mistakes I've made, and thankfully I've come through to enjoy great success in business. And when you can get to that point, it's very, very rewarding, but it is a process. And when I look back now, one of the first things that I feel I should have thought through more clearly was, well, why exactly am I starting this business? And the reason I say that is that there are good reasons to be in business and there are bad reasons. Good reasons is that you believe you have a idea or concept for a product or service or something that you can deliver in a competitive way to make a profit and keep your customers happy. And that's what true business is all about, that it's a win-win situation for both sides. It's good for the entrepreneur, it's a rewarding process for them, and it's good for your clients, your customers, where both people gain. A bad reason to start a business is, well, you're running away from something else. You don't like your job, or you're bored in your job and you feel that, that the only way to be happy is to be in business. Certainly, having a successful business is very enjoyable and rewarding on a personal level and can be very lucrative on a financial level if you can get it to a certain point where you can grow it and earn healthy profits every year. But being in business isn't always easy, so sometimes a person might be better off remaining in their job because they might end up with more financial security than in a business that can be uncertain and unstable, especially when you have different economic cycles or a crisis that can affect the ability of a business to be able to run successfully. So the why is really, really important. And if you have a really strong why for doing the business, that will sustain you in the tough times and will help you to have that resilience to stay going and to persevere until you get through out the other side to success and prosperity. So ask that question first, why am I doing this? Next question is what? And the reason you ask that question is you ask it about yourself. What exactly am I really good at? Or what product or service can I provide at such a good level that it will literally guarantee my success in the marketplace? And a mistake I think people make is that they go into business and they go into a type of business that isn't necessarily suited for their particular set of talents and skills and abilities. And if you do that, you'll always be struggling because you'll be not really efficient on the job in your business, and that will reflect in the value that you offer your customers, and customers will pick that up. So if you're in business, make sure that your role in the business suits you personally. If you're a person that's better dealing with the customers on the front line, then make sure that your role in the business maximizes that. If you're a person that's better at the logistics of running a business or the financials or managing stock or managing employees, then make sure that that's your role in the business and delegate or appoint others in the business to do the things that you're not so good at. And that's a key thing, a key distinction to make. Next question is who? So before you start a business or continually while you're running a business, always ask, well, who are my ideal customers? You can have a business and you can be serving lots of customers, but they may not be ideal for you because maybe they're not profitable, or maybe it's a very crowded marketplace, very tight margins, and it's a struggle. So if you think about that and you think deeply about, well, who do I want to serve? Who would my ideal customer be? And think long and hard about that first, and whether there is potential in the marketplace for you to gain a share of that market before you start. Or even as you go along, always ask the question, is my customer type changing? Maybe the customers that I started out with, maybe they no longer have a need for the product or service that I'm offering. Maybe I need to look at a new type of customer within my existing business. So it's a process of evolution where you're constantly reevaluating and examining what you're doing in terms of the type of customer you want to serve. So who do you want to serve? Very, very important question. Then the next question you need to ask is where. So where are these ideal clients that I want to serve in my business? Where are they currently congregating? So if you have a business with a strong online presence, then most of your potential customers are congregating online, either on other websites, on Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, associations, forums, that type of stuff. And you need to be aware of where they hang out, and then you need to find ways of getting in front of them to offer them your products and services. And so you're always asking, where are my customers? What hook can I use to attract them, to get their attention, so that I can tell them about what I have to offer that's better for them relative to their competitor offerings. So that's another constant process, and it changes all the time, in that the way you would have found your customers before has changed dramatically. Once upon a time, if you were in business, you would have used the Yellow Pages, which was this big yellow book with the listings of all the different businesses out there. And if you were a customer, you would get onto the Yellow Pages and you just look for the particular type of service you're looking for and go from there. And if you were in business, you had to be in that Yellow Pages so that the customer might find you. And now it's different, in that you need to chase the customer, particularly chase them online. You need to see what they're doing on social media. You need to see what preferences they have in terms of the type of websites they visit. You need information about the type of products and services that they're already availing of. And you can do that by looking at your competitors and see what they're offering to their clients. And then you'll know that one of the ways to get in front of those potential targets for you is to advertise on your competitors' platforms and get in front of them and give them an alternative. So where are your customers? Really important question, and that's something that changes and evolves in a fast-moving marketplace. The final question to ask is how. Again, I would think this is probably one of the most important questions of the 5, in that you can have a great business idea, you can have everything organized in terms of you've researched your market, you know what your product and service is, you know what your strengths are, and now you're ready to implement the business. But it's easier said than done. And the key way to have a proper organized structure to your business is to spend as much time as possible each year, or before you start out at all, on your business plan. The reason I'm a strong advocate of a business plan is that if it's done properly, it forces you to think deeply about your business in terms of all components, not just where my customers are or what my product is. You'll have to think about, well, where do I run my business from? Do I need a premises? Do I have a proper lease on that premises to last for a reasonable period of time? Is there any danger to that, losing that? If it's not a physical business and it's an online business, then have I the investment put into a website that's maximized for search engine optimization? Have I thought about my fixed costs, my variable costs? Have I worked out of, as I grow my business, where am I going to get my employees from? Have I sufficient cash flow in the business to sustain me in the early periods, which is maybe the first 1 to 3 years while I'm growing the business? And another important question is, have I got sufficient cash flow allocated to allow the business to grow and scale, where you're heavily reinvesting in systems and products and services and team, and that there's money there just to pay the bills while you're building this business to get it back over the long run. Equally, a business plan, if you build out the projections for your business over maybe 1 to 5 years, you'll see the trend as regards what it's going to cost you to grow your sales, and what effect it might have on margins. And you can kind of hypothesize about, well, what if margins started to dip? At what point would maybe my business be only at a break even? And the more time you put into that in your business plan, if you're starting out, do it before you launch at all. And if you're in business, reviewing that business plan each year comprehensively is critical to the long-term success of your business. So always ask that question as well. How am I going to implement my business idea or service? So look, it's great that you are in business. If you're aspiring to go into business, I applaud you and encourage you, and I want you to be motivated, and you will be successful. But ask those 5 questions and ask them regularly to keep you on the right track on that road to success. Thank you very much for today, and see you all again soon.